So I figured I would answer this question. Why the hell would I go down a weight class? I was doing so well with the 90 kilograms. I won nationals last year. Well, if it wasn't for any other show than a world level show, I wouldn't be doing that. If it was regional, provincial, national, I wouldn't be doing that. What happened is that I found a new coach, Taylor Gone. I started his programming. Amazing coach, amazing programming, by the way. And it was pretty intense. And I'm not sure, but I think it's one of the reasons why I started losing a little bit of weight. I was already a little bit above the 90 kilo weight class. I was like 200 pounds. Started working with Taylor. I don't know what happened, but my body weight went down to 194. Didn't have to do anything. It just went down to 194 about in February, March this year, I would say. And then I started reading more and studying more, like I really love to do, generally speaking, and studied more about diet. And I started changing my diet towards something that was more and more, I would say, carnivore, animal-based. 92% of what I ate became animal-based in April. And that made me lose even more weight. But initially it was water weight, of course. When anybody who does just keto will lose 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds of water sometimes or more. So my body weight dropped down to 188 when we reached mid-April. I was 188, and then I figured, okay, the guys who are the best in the world in the 90 kilogram weight class, they walk around at 210, some of them 220, and here I am being 198. It's the perfect time to make the switch. I didn't have to do any effort. My body weight went down to 188 without me making any effort. So that's one thing. And if anyone's interested to know about that mostly carnivore diet that I had started, now I've reincorporated a little more ingredients in my life, but it's still mostly animal based, probably 3/4 of what I eat, maybe 80%. Let me just say that it's an amazing thing when it comes to how you feel. I don't know about the long-term health effects. All I know is that it made me feel amazing without affecting my performance in the gym initially. Except initially. There was an initial drop in performance, but was followed by a PR with my front squats, which made me realize, okay, this is definitely not destroying my performance. My mental clarity became absolutely amazing, way better than the usual. Waking up early in the morning became easy. No more bloating, no more digestive issues at all. The best digestion I've ever had in my entire life. And the feeling was just great, generally speaking. No more being tired after a meal. No more yawning during the day. The energy before or after a meal was the same. So many people get tired and they yawn, and after a meal they feel bloated. No, none of that anymore. So it was amazing for that. Absolutely. And now this leads me back to the question of why I chose to cut, and it makes me tackle another subject, which is the famous calories in, calories out model that everybody seems to agree with and use when it comes to losing or gaining weight. And there is some value to it for sure. I will not deny that. But my experiences recently have shown me that it can be a little different, because when I started losing weight, like I said, without any effort, the irony is, after that, I said, okay, I still have a little bit more weight to lose. Talked to my coach. He said, I'd like you to be at 184, 185 max, 7 to 10 days pre-comp. I said, okay, I'll work on it. So I decided to start tracking calories. And whether I was eating carbs or not did not matter. I will show you the screenshot of my weight in the past 6 weeks. The fluctuations look like that, up and down, according to if I eat carbs or not. But the point is, if my maintenance was 3,700 calories, that's what was my maintenance, then why didn't I start losing weight until I went down to 2,700 calories? Started with 3,300, nothing happened. 3,100, nothing happened. 2,900, nothing happened. 2,700, that's when I start losing weight again. As you can tell, this morning I was 186.6, way not far below 188, which I was already in April, and we are in late June. So what happened though is a huge energy loss. I walk slower. I even have a little sore throat, which I never have usually. I'm not sick. I started losing some mental clarity. I am more tired than I usually am. Sometimes more irritable too. More easily angered, which I don't recognize myself when it happens. So all lowering the amount of daily food I've had has done for the first 4 of the last 6 weeks is affect how I feel and not my weight. My metabolism has slowed down. So for anyone who says calories in, calories out, you lower a calorie, you lose weight, well, you know what? Maybe it works for some people, but in my case, it took 1,000 calories below my maintenance before I started losing weight. Maybe it's because I am lean already. Maybe I don't know exactly my body fat percentage, but I would assume it is close to 11%. Some people have told me, oh, you're in the single digits now. I'm like, no, man, it's easy to believe that. Most people I've talked to believe they're leaner than they actually are when it comes to body fat percentage, and I just shut up. I don't say it. I'm like, no, you're not 14%. You're 20. Oops. I think I must be close, maybe 12, but between 10 and 12. And I guess the body, which is a wonderful thing, has wonderful mechanisms of survival. It's making me slow down when I walk. It's making everything else slow down. My metabolism has slowed down rather than allowing me to lose weight, which is what I'm realizing. So I would like to add a nuance when it comes to losing weight and the different types of diet. A lot of people in the keto carnivore community are going to say it's easier to lose weight on that diet, and I, in a way, believe it too, but up to a certain point. There are lots of influencers in that community who say, when you have carbs and you count calories, it might be harder to lose weight actually than if you eat as much as you want, at least to society, till you're filled, only eating meat and eggs. And that works, but only if you're overweight. If you're already super muscular and lean, it's bullshit. I'm telling you right now. I've tried both. You can if you're already lean and muscular and you only have meat and eggs, even being in a caloric deficit in my state, like I said, wasn't enough until the amount of food I ate really went down by a lot. So sure, you can lose weight easily initially if you have a lot of weight to lose doing all sorts of diets, sure, but at some point you just need to reduce a lot the amount of food that you eat, and it's gonna suck whether you eat carbs or not. Like I said in my other video, I have become obsessed with food, which I usually am not. I think of food all the time. Last night I even cheated because I couldn't fall asleep. I had been in bed for 2 hours between 9:30 and 11:30. Tried to sleep, couldn't fall asleep. My stomach was growling. I got up, got some spoonfuls of almond butter, peanut butter, and honey, went back to bed, fell asleep immediately. So the hunger kept me up, yeah, and it's a thing. So the body really speaks loud these days for me to eat more food. This leads to the question, what is the ideal weight pre-comp when you do have a 24-hour weigh-in? And I know some guys who are willing to do huge sacrifices to be able to be big for their comp, as big as possible. But it's not always the best decision. I have seen and heard of people who were doing the 80 kilogram weight class, getting to their hotel room the day before the weigh-in, weighing 200 pounds, which is, like 20, over 20, sometimes 25 pounds above the weight they're supposed to be the morning after. And in many cases, it doesn't even pay off. Now, being under the weight already doesn't pay off either, because the other guys are all going to be 10, 12, 15, maybe 20 pounds heavier than you once the comp arrives, even if you're well hydrated. If they're bigger and they managed it better than others, then they're probably going to do better than you too. So in my case, right now, sitting at 9.8 pounds above the comp weight is pretty ideal, I would say. Because I will do a water loading with sodium manipulations, which should lead to a 4-5 pound weight loss in water. I'm already pretty low carb, so I can't count on removing carbs to lose more weight though. That's a thing. Because I'm 186.6 this morning. That's when I'm eating between 0 and 100 grams of carbs a day. Now, if I bring that back up to 2, 3, 4, 500 grams a day, obviously I'm going to gain 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds in my morning weight. But I'm keeping that strategy for the comp. What I'm trying to say is that in the past weeks, I have been on purpose switching between some ketosis, very low carb, 0 to 25, sometimes 0 to 50, for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, and reintroducing carbs once or twice a week, and see how it affects my workouts. Now, I don't even have that keto flu anymore. What they call the keto flu is really feeling lightheaded and lethargic, because your body is used to using carbs for energy, glycogen, when you work out. And then your glycogen is depleted, your body is asked to use ketones, and it hasn't really started producing them, or if it's just started, it's not as efficient at using them, and you feel like garbage. But in my case, for the past 2 months, I've been switching. I don't have symptoms anymore, switching from one to the other. All my workouts have become, not all, but mostly, they're great. Feels great, whether I'm doing low carb or I replenished my glycogen with carbs. So this is the nice thing about it. And I did a test the other day. By test, I mean I cheated because I was weak. And the difference in weight between a low carb morning weigh-in, where I was 186 point something, and 36 hours later, after eating a lot of carbs and being full after dinner at night, I was weighing close to 197 on the scale. So it's 10 to 11 pounds gain in 36 hours, which really built my confidence to know that I'll be able to eat a lot more after the weigh-in, to make sure I can get heavy enough to be performant. So what is the ideal weight to sit at when you have a competition in a 24-hour weigh-in? I wouldn't say there's an ideal weight, because we're talking proportions. That ideal weight above comp weight is not going to be the same for someone who's doing the 120 kilo weight class compared to someone who's doing the 80 kilo weight class. But in terms of percentage, it could be the same. I would say anything between 4 and 6% above comp weight sounds pretty decent. Now, I know that some people are gonna, like I said, go for 7, 8, 9, 10. But is it optimal? It depends on how you can recover. That is the question. I just really don't want to repeat the experience I had at the Arnold in 2019. Long story short, I had 3 flights to catch. 2 of them were late. Early March 2019, it was still winter, and the planes, for some reasons, were not flying off. We had to wait, and I was not at all as well prepared as I am. My knowledge of how to do these things wasn't great. I ate the wrong things the day before the weigh-in too, and I thought I would be fine. I'll just do hot baths because I was already used to cutting 5 to 7 pounds of weight with hot baths. What happened is that when I got into my hotel room in Columbus, I was 190.6. I had to be 175.4 the morning after. It was 10 p.m. and I had to be 175 for 9 p.m. I had 11 hours to lose 15.2 pounds. I stayed up all night, the whole freaking night, doing hot baths. I didn't even know at the time you have to put salt in the bath to make it faster. I didn't even know at the time you have to use a towel after the bath to remove the excess water on your body to make sure your body doesn't reabsorb it. These little things matter a lot. And so when 9 a.m. came, I was still 178.8. I managed to lose 12 pounds in 11 hours. Felt like absolute trash, garbage, really awful. My kidneys were hurting. And with my coach at the time, Super Sam Dubé, we decided to call it off, to not go on with losing weight. I had a fever. And even after rehydrating and eating after the weigh-in, it took 4 hours before that fever left. So I promised myself, never again. I'm not doing that again. Which also explains why I stuck to the 90 kilogram weight class for the 5 following years, except right now, where I'm already in a way better position than I was. There's 3 weeks before the weigh-in, exactly 3 weeks. And I'm sitting at 4 pounds lighter than I was at that hotel room the night before that weigh-in. So I'm really happy about that. Anyhow, I'd like to finish by saying that this cut has made me develop a huge admiration for all the people doing the same thing, whether you're doing strongman, powerlifting, or whatever sport. But huge respect to bodybuilders who do this kind of stuff regularly, and to all the people who have the willpower to keep going even when they reach that low body fat level, because that's when it becomes the hardest, and I'm going through it right now. I didn't even say, but last night, after cheating and having some spoonfuls of honey and peanut butter and almond butter at midnight, yeah, I did fall asleep like a baby right after, but I woke up at 3 a.m. feeling super hungry again. And then I fell back asleep around 4 a.m. So it's really hard to manage. And there you have these people putting themselves through this. And some people, like bodybuilders, do that, 4 months of the year. Some people perhaps 6. Maybe it's easier in the beginning, of course, but as you progress, as you get leaner, holy shit, does it become harder. So mad respect to all the people who go through this. The other thing that makes it hard is that, for me, the idea of being lean and looking good does not motivate me to keep going forward with this. A lot of people train for, sure, the health and the fitness, but mostly for the looks. And I don't train for the looks. I do not care if I'm 10 or 18% body fat. I do care about what I look. I don't want to allow myself to go above a certain fat percentage. That I must admit. And if I did, I would feel bad and I would work on getting rid of the excess fat. But between 10 and 18%, if I have a little belly, I don't care at all. So the idea of me looking good and having that beach body, I don't give a rip about it. It's not motivating. So for those who have that kind of motivation, it might help. It's okay, I'm going to look great. I look great, I'm going to look good. It's amazing. I don't care. So I'm only doing this to make weight for one competition. So that's what makes it hard too. And also I decided for OSG, because I'm also qualified for Worlds in December, 2 Worlds this year, PSL and OSG. PSL July 13th, OSG December 5 and 6. I'm gonna go back to the 90 kilogram weight class. I'm gonna clean bulk my way back up there and try to be as lean as I can be at 206, maybe 208, but not more than that. I don't want to have to suffer like I am right now, whether I'm in the 80 or 90 kilogram weight class. So right now, if I'm 10 pounds above comp weight, perhaps being 90 kilos, I would prefer being 7 or 8 pounds above comp weight, make things way easier. Maybe not even have to do more than 1 pound in a hot bath. 1 hour in a hot bath, you're done. Even less, thank you, goodbye. That would be really nice. So after PSL, I will have 19 weeks to gain 20 pounds. Cool. 1 pound a week should be fun. Should be fun to see, to explore and experiment with the diet too. I'm having fun with that these days. Like, that's one thing I want to talk about too. In the world of strongman, and there was an online coach recently who was talking about it, and I kind of agreed with him, not fully, but he was saying in the strongman community, a lot of people do not care at all about what they eat. And I would add even more so in the open class. But if you want to become an elite level athlete, the quality of what you eat will matter at some point. There is no doubt. You can't go around that. You know, oh, I'm gonna have a huge McDonald's meals after my training. Good for you, bud. But you know, there are better things you can eat that are gonna affect your performance in a way better way. And so this has been the fun part for me in the past weeks, exploring with the diet, see what works, see what doesn't. I've discovered so many things. Like, you know, just to give you an example, I discovered that the causes of heartburn, in my case, I'm not saying is the case for everyone, but they're linked to mostly sugar, but even more so to maltodextrin, cornstarch. You know, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I have heartburn, it must be the coffee, it must be the steak. Nah, probably not. If I have 4 eggs and a steak in the morning and four espressos, I will get exactly 0 heartburn. Now, if I have porridge with maple syrup and brown sugar and berries, I might have some heartburn. Or if I have a Gatorade during a workout, I will have heartburn for sure. What's in Gatorade? The sugar and the maltodextrin. Energy drinks have it too, and candy has it too. Somehow I get heartburn if I eat candy. I don't have energy drinks, so I wouldn't know, but interesting stuff. So there's going to be a lot of experimenting with when to use carbs and when not to. I will give things a try. I'll see what happens. There will be phases where I'll be a higher carb, phases with lower carbs. Like, I notice if I have too many carbs in a meal with meat and eggs, let's say rice, 1 cup of dry rice, which is about 150 grams of carbs, 700 calories. If I mix that with ground meat or steak and eggs, I'm gonna feel bloated. I'm not gonna feel that great after that meal. But if I have as much meat and eggs as I want until I'm full and nothing else, I feel great. Now, is that what's best for strongman performance? Probably not. So I will be experimenting with carb timings, see how that affects me, and perhaps find a way of using them, but maybe, not going for carbs all the way, 5, 6, 7, 8 meals a day everywhere, because I'm not sure that's going to make me feel that good. Might cause more inflammation. We'll see what happens, but I'm really looking forward to bulking again. And heads up, I'm announcing it after OSG in December, after December 2024. Once I go back to 205 pounds, I'm gonna bulk to 231 pounds and give myself a chance for fun in the amateur 105 kilogram weight class. I've never been more than 216 pounds. I want to see if I can bulk up to 230 during 2025. Just for the sake of raising my absolute strength, and I want to see if I can stay healthy. I want to see if my blood pressure can stay low, and if my resting heart rate can stay low, and if they go up, what can I do while being heavy to keep them low or bring them back as low as they are right now? Because right now, blood pressure is 115 on 70, resting heart rate between 58 and 65. It's great. I feel good. I feel healthy. I want to see, can I do this in a healthy way? But also, it's going to give me a break from the mental toll, mental tax of knowing that I am only doing 2 comps this year, 2 worlds, not going to have fun with the regional comps, with the community, the people I know. No, not doing that because I focus on worlds and I don't want to get injured, blah, blah, blah. I want to get back into doing this a little more for fun. So, do the regional, provincial, perhaps national at 231, and see what happens. And you know how just getting stronger, generally speaking, feels great as long as you feel healthy. So that's the plan for 2025. From 186 right now in June 2024 to 231 in October, December 2025 is the plan. I'll have 18 months to gain about 45 pounds. I want to do it the smart way. Let's see what happens.